Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my favorites of 2024. So this is part best of 2024, best things that launched this year, but also just things that I really loved this year. So some of these things might be things that launched last year or earlier and I tried for the first time this year, or things that I've already had and maybe liked but really fell in love with this year. Just the things that I grabbed for the most. So really excited to talk about these. There's a lot of products here, and this is probably going to be a longer video, but I will try to be as concise as I can. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup. I really like sparkly indie eyeshadow and high-end and luxury makeup, and you will see a bunch of both of those here today. And I try to be really analytical in the content I make. I just try really hard to make thoughtful, analytical videos, and I have new content every week, so I'd really love to have you. So before we begin, I did want to say, sorry for the delay. I wanted this to go up before Christmas, but life got in the way. Plus, I wanted to actually relax and have time, those days off, spend time with my husband and our close friends. I am wearing one of my Christmas presents in case you see it. It says life is pain au chocolat. Had to wear that today. My husband got me a few sweaters, so you'll be seeing some new sweaters periodically. I'm wearing, as far as makeup details, those will all be in the description box like normal. I will try to link as much as I can in case you're interested, but there is a lot of stuff sitting in front of me. And I will have timestamps for sections of products as well, in case you want to come back to or you're really only interested in some of it. But everything I'm wearing is something from all of this. So before I get into actual beauty products, I did want to mention a couple other things. So fragrance and then like brushes / tools. So fragrance wise, there's been a few things that have come out this year that I've really loved. We are subscribed to Fern, which is an all natural seasonal perfume. So every quarter, so every season, winter, fall, spring, summer, they send a bottle. And then they also send a sample so you can test it and decide if you want to keep it or send it back. I've really enjoyed all of them. We haven't sent any of them back, but I will say this new one, Winter 2025, is I think my favorite that they've done so far that I've tried. We have 5 bottles of these, and this is very much a me scent. A lot of wintry fragrances tend to go a little too gourmand, vanilla, all of that. And I just got a sample from Victoria Beckham of one of her newest fragrance. And again, too much tonka bean and vanilla for my liking. But this is really citrusy. There's a little bit of mint and some other stuff for like kind of a cooling effect, but it's very citrus forward with like a nice earthy base, and it's really lovely. I would suggest looking up the notes because there's a lot of them, and they also list where each ingredient was sourced from. But really loving this. Already used basically the whole sample bottle, and then I've gotten through the part of this. One that I don't have in front of me because I used it all up was the newest Byredo fragrance, Desert Dawn. I really want to buy a full-size bottle of that. I did get a sample of that, maybe 2 samples of it, and we've used both of them all the way up. Really love it. I think it's my favorite Byredo fragrance that they've ever done, so that is on my list to buy a full-size bottle of. And then I have a couple other here. So this is the Autumn Vibes from Replica. I've had this for a couple years and I enjoyed it before, and you can see it's almost done. I think it used to be up here, and then just this fall, somehow this became one of my go-tos, and I just really wanted this scent a lot. So I ended up going from here to here this fall, so I'm gonna need another one next fall, but really enjoying this. And then Boy Smells, I have a couple things from them. They came out with the Cit Rush collection, so there's a candle and a perfume. I have the candle as well, love it, but I only grabbed the perfume. Wore this all summer, used about half the bottle, and have a backup of this because I love it so much. It is, again, very citrus forward. It's like citrus, musk, and pepper are like the 3 main scents. This is the only fragrance I took with me to Europe. Wore it the 2 weeks we were there. Wore it all summer. Really love this. Really happy to have backup so that I don't feel nervous to go through the rest of this one. I have been wearing this again, even now in the fall winter vibe, still works. Really love it. And then I did want to mention 2 candles. So I like an expensive candle. I think they do fragrances a little bit better than a lot of others. I have a lot of Dias and Durga candles, but this one was a limited edition one this fall, maybe this summer, with Volvo, and it's Swedish. And it is a perfect fall candle. It smells like crisp air and trees, kind of aspen vibes, not the place, like the trees. Really lovely. My husband, we had to get this because of him. He likes cars too, but really love this. Really perfect fall scent. If they still have it, we might want to get a second one because we've burned through half of that one. And then we have a few Boy Smells candles, but they're holiday ones. We bought 2 of them. I have a bunch of their summer scents as well. Love those. But we got 2 of the holiday scents. We bought Broken Rosary and Insensorial. Broken Rosary, I think, is my husband's favorite. He bought a backup of that one. It's really beautiful. But Insensorial, I think, is my favorite. It's kind of Christmassy. There's like a citrus spice element to it, but then with that incense note backing it to add some depth. Really love this. I just think they do fragrances really well for candles, so highly recommend checking those out. Okay, so for brushes and tools, I can do a whole brush, like my favorite brush video, if that would be something people would be interested in. But there were some brushes I tried this year that I've been really enjoying. So first are the new-ish Shoto brushes from Refer. I have gotten PR from Refer, but I did buy these ones myself. I really like these. These are dirty. I need to wash them. I've had them for a couple weeks now, and they're really lovely. They're wispier at the end and then a little denser in the center. They're designed after calligraphy brushes, so they're just a really lovely formula, or a really lovely form factor for a brush. Because I have other, like here's just another Refer brush sitting here, and you can see it's not as wispy, so you get a really nice easy blend. You can do a nice wash. So if you have a shadow that like this might pick up a little too much of, this works really well to pick up but diffuse really effortlessly. I think these are really great. I hope these stay around. I hope they're not like a limited edition thing, because I would like more of them. I've gotten a decent number of Sony G brushes in the last year, and I've really been loving and using a lot the Traditions sets. So this is the regular Tradition set, so they have that persimmon dye. Really lovely shapes, really lovely brushes. They're goat hair, and they're a little more resilient because of this dye, but they're really soft. She says that they might be slightly less soft than other brushes because of it, but I don't know. I think if it's there, it's a minute difference. And then the Tradition Selects brushes, the Tradition Select brushes, wow, that was hard to say. These are a mix of goat hair and squirrel hair, and they are incredibly soft, really lovely brushes. Would love more shapes of these. I can't stop using them. And then I did get some brushes sent to me from Esam. These were sent in PR. These are their revamped brushes, and I've been really enjoying them. I pulled these 3 out in particular. So this is the the V29. This is a really lovely concealer brush. It's the perfect shape to just pounce concealer in under the eyes or around the nose, wherever you need it, or if you're doing like a spot. Really soft, really lovely shape. I mean, lots of concealer brushes have the shape, but this is just a really nice quality version of that. And then this is the G53. These are a mix, so I think this one is synthetic and this one's natural hair. This is their highlight brush, and I like that it's kind of fluffy, so it really diffuses things on the cheek. You could also kind of do a tiny amount of blush, but it's just a really nice, soft, diffuse wash of powder when you use this. Really love this. And then this is the most ingenious one, I think. This is their lip brush, and it comes like this. So you open it up and then the handle becomes a case. So this is the T20. It's a really nice lip brush. And then if you want to take it to go and you don't want it getting over everything, it folds in on itself, and it's just like this, and I keep it with my lip pencils and go-to lipsticks in my to-go bag. Okay, so last for brushes, I did want to mention What's Up Beauty sent me a bunch of their eyeshadow brushes, and I have been really loving them. They are also a natural hair, goat hair like Rephr. I think really high quality, really nice. This is the one I use the most. This is the R106. It's a nice smudger brush. I use this for shadow because it's fairly dense, but has just enough fluff for like a one and done shimmer. And then I bought some more brushes from Lisa Eldridge. So last year I bought her foundation brush and this eyeshadow brush. This is the number 8, I believe. They don't say on them. And then this year I bought one of her pencil brushes and the number 9, so it's a big fluffy one. And then I also bought her flat shader brush. So these are really lovely. These are the closest thing I've found that is a synthetic that feels and performs like natural hair. A lot of times I've seen synthetic brushes say mimics natural hair, and I don't think they do. But these I think really do, in both the way they pick up and blend and just in the softness and texture of them and like the way the bristles move. Having synthetic, aka plastic bristles, just they never quite move the same way real hair does, and these I think do. Really lovely. I would like more of them. I see Lisa often use this as like concealer and spot foundation, and this one for powder, and I can see why. I would definitely do that, but this also just makes a really lovely lid brush, and this is just fluffy enough to really like, I wouldn't place shadow down with this. I would use this littler one and put shadow where I want, pat, blend, and then this is a really good one to go over and like refine the blend. So, and this is perfect for eyeliner, which is what I used it for today. So, had to mention these. Okay, so first up, I'm gonna do complexion. So I don't have too many things here. I have a couple primers, a concealer, and one base product. So for primer, I had to include the Surratt primer. This is the Perfectioniste primer. I've had this for a while. They sent this to me. I still really love it. I used it a decent amount last year when they sent it to me, but this year I really, really used it a lot, and it's almost dead. So I need to buy a backup one of these days. It's a really nice kind of soft matte, soft blur effect on the skin. Really lovely. It is $100, but it just gives a really nice glow. Like, it doesn't take away glow from skincare or your complexion products, but it does make them last longer and add a blur to the skin and make you like not look as shiny. So especially in the middle of the face, like T-zone area. Really love this. Totally worth it in my opinion. And then the new primer that I tried this year that I really fell in love with is the Victoria Beckham. I've wanted to try this forever. I finally, when I was in London, I swatched it because there's nowhere to swatch this or try this here in Seattle. If I still lived in New York, I could have gone somewhere, but I don't live in New York anymore. So while I was in London, I swatched on the back of my hand, wore it out, really liked the way my skin felt afterwards, and I finally just bought it to try. I was worried because it has avocado oil in it, and I'm allergic to avocados, that it would be an irritant, but so do the Mob Beauty shadows, and I tried one of them and it didn't hurt at all or cause any irritation, so I think it's just, I can't eat it or put it on my lips, but face is fine. This is beautiful. I have used it almost every day for the last month and a half, and this is, there's still a decent amount in here, but I did buy another one in a bigger size while it was on sale because I love it that much. My skin has definitely been improving since using this. I'm seeing less redness overall. Just my skin's looking happier and healthier when I use this, especially consistently. I didn't use it for like 3 days. I did notice a slight difference in my skin. Really love it. I got the golden shade. It just adds a nice warmth to the skin. I really, really love it. And it works with everything that I've tried it with. So it adds a nice plump glow to the skin. It's what I use today. I really love it. So I don't think I tried any foundations this year except for the About Face, which I did not like and returned. But I did really fall in love with the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. So I have shade T9. This is the best skin tint I've ever used. It is very lightweight, feels like nothing, but it does even the skin and perfect it in a way but without looking like anything. Other skin tints sometimes look like you're wearing a skin tint still. Like it looks like light coverage, but I can still tell there's makeup. This, I cannot tell. It sinks in. It's like skincare. Oh, hi, Bean. It's skincare with some pigment, basically. So it just soaks into the skin, evens it out, lasts all day, doesn't look too oily or greasy, takes to powder well. It just looks great. I will use this when I'm wearing a full face today. I will use it when I'm just by itself as like a no makeup thing. I just want to make sure I look a little bit better for work. Cannot speak highly enough of this. It's expensive, but it's so good, so worth it. And then for concealer, I have two things. So this is not technically a concealer, it's just a color corrector, but this is the Beauty Pie color corrector in medium/deep. Really like this. I tried other color correctors and never stuck with them consistently because I didn't feel like they really did anything, but I do think this helps. It sits well under concealer. It works well without any other makeup. This was sent to me in PR from Beauty Pie, but really like this formula. So if you were ever on there making a purchase and you were in the need of a color corrector, I think this is worth checking out. It has a little bit of glow to it without being shiny, and that glow kind of helps, I think, reflect light along with the color correcting. So really worth checking out. And then the concealer that I fell in love with this year is the Victoria Beckham. So this is expensive. This is $70, $68, something like that. And you get basically no product. You get 2.4 ml. I have other expensive concealers. I have the Surratt one, which is Surratt Dewdrop, which is also up there in price, but you get way more product. Still really love that. Still really love the House Labs and the Kosas. House Labs is still my holy grail, but I really, really love this. I've had this again for about a month and a half. Used it most days. I used it today under my eyes and then over a couple spots. It works well. Like you can build it up and use it with more makeup. I can use this when I'm not wearing anything else and it doesn't look like makeup. It really just melts into the skin. It's like the concealer, slightly more pigmented version of this. So good. My skin really likes it. It's one of those where it has a bunch of skincare that's in it that's supposed to help your skin over time, and I don't know about that because I haven't used it long enough, but my skin likes it. It looks really great. I have the shade Light Medium 1. I feel like Medium 1 would also work and would be good like around the edge of my face or in the summer kind of shade, but for under the eyes, Light Medium 1 is really good. I just tap it in with my finger or a brush, but I prefer finger, and I really like the way it looks on my skin. I think it's perfecting in just the right amount without looking like makeup or looking too much. So the next category is bronzer or contour. I didn't try too many new ones this year, but the thing that I really fell in love with is the Makeup by Mario, what is this? Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. I have the shade Medium. You can see I've used a little bit more than half of it since I got it this summer. I love this. I think it's amazing. It just works so beautifully. So I can mix it in with like the skin tint or a foundation if it's not, because it does have a pump and a doe foot. If I want to add a little bit more warmth to something, like that works, that's not warm enough or dark enough in the summer. But it just gives such a nice, subtle, natural warmth to the skin. I did use it today. I did put a little bit of powder bronzer over it, just because I was going to be on camera and these wash me out a bit. But on the day-to-day, I use this basically every day. It works beautifully. So I'll do like these three, and one of the blushes that you'll see in a second are like my go-to every day. If I want to wear something to work, but I don't have a lot of time and I want it to look like I'm not wearing anything. It's so sheer that it adds warmth and a little bit of depth to the face without looking like anything. It just sinks into the skin in a very natural way. I will 100% buy a backup of this as soon as it's gone. Really lovely, totally worth it. I have not tried his like Soft Sculpt Skin Enhancer that I think is a similar idea, but in like a pan. But I'd be willing to try that now after trying this. Okay, so next I'm gonna talk about highlighter because I like to put my highlighter on before blush. So one that didn't come out this year, it's been around for a while, and I think I bought it last year, but really fell in love with this year, is the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Highlighter. I have the shade Solar Light. I love this. This is my most worn highlighter this year. I've used about half of it, and I will buy a backup as soon as this, or a replacement as soon as it's done. It's just a really beautiful, they say golden apricot color, perfect for my skin tone. Really natural. It has her patented film former that's like in her foundation and stuff. So it sets the skin, it doesn't budge, it just looks beautiful and really natural. It is that glow from within kind of thing. And it also mixes really well. So I will mix it with lipstick or cream blush or liquid blush or something like that. And it works beautifully as a mixer for those things. So really love this. And then the other one that came out last year and then I bought it this year is the KJH brand highlighter. So I have light copper and I bought it with the serum as well. The serum is really nice. I didn't pull it out. It is kind of a lip glossy, serum-y texture. Really great. I think if you have dry skin, you'd really like it all over. But just the actual highlights themselves are really beautiful. So this is, like I said, it's light copper. You get a lot of product in here. It's really versatile. It mixes well with not just her serum, but other stuff as well. And it's just a really beautiful cream highlight that can be either very natural or really beaming depending on how you use it. So I think really versatile, and I like that she's really pushing people to play with the products the way she's designed the brand. So I had to mention that. I got that. I think that came out about a year ago when the brand launched, and I bought it at the end of the summer this summer. And then two that I did that came out this summer, or came out this year. This is the Surratt liquid highlighters. This was sent to me in PR. I do have a code with Surratt as well. I pulled out the shade Lame. It is what I have on today as my highlighter throughout the high points of my face around the edges. I also have the bronze shade, which I really love, because it looks like it's gonna be pretty dark, but it shears out just so beautifully. They did send me the pink one as well, but I gave that to my best friend after reviewing it. Really lovely formula. I don't use it as much as the Lisa Eldridge, but it is just a really beautiful liquid highlight, and all three shades are really pretty. So totally worth checking out. It's my second most used after the Lisa Eldridge, so it just depends. The bronze is a little darker than this, and this is a little more champagne, a little brighter, so it just depends on like what I'm going for. And then the other one is new shade in an existing formula, and it is the shade Borealis from Ritual de Fille. So this was a collaboration with my friend Andromeda over on Instagram, and it's a cream highlight and it's green. But the thing that I like about this the most is I have a couple other green highlights which work well on my skin tone because I have an olive undertone. So it like, you can tell it's green, but it doesn't look weird. But this is like that glow from within in green. The other ones I have are like a little more sparkly, a little more metallic looking, more like your standard indie highlighter. This is that glow from within, like the Lisa Eldridge or the Surratt, but green. And it just really pretty, really beautiful. So happy for Andromeda for getting that collaboration. Really enjoyed all of it. Okay, so next is blush. I have a handful of things here, but it should be relatively quick. So first is, this is actually a liquid lipstick. This is Lisa Eldridge's Velveteen Liquid Lip Color in Dragon, Velveteen Dragon. I really want Velveteen Affair. I bought this last year and I liked it as a liquid lipstick. It's pretty comfortable for a liquid lipstick, very long lasting, all of that. But what I found I use it the most for and really love it this year is as a blush. So either by itself or mixed in with this, these two together, perfect blush. Adds some glow and from this, and also kind of like dilutes the color a little bit, but then you still get this really pretty color and like the long lasting effect of a liquid lipstick because they, you know, dry down and set. Really beautiful. I want some more shades of this liquid lipstick. kind of to wear on my lips, but mostly to wear as blush because it's also little. Like I took this with, this was the blush I took to Europe because it's little and it just worked perfectly every day. Another one that is not new or new to me, I think I bought it last year, but when I really fell in love with it was this year, and that is the Victoria Beckham blush. So this is the Cheeky Posh in Playground. I've used a lot of this. It is the perfect everyday neutral terracotta blush. It looks very natural on me, and kind of with the skin tint and the Mario bronzer, this is what I will grab if I want a little bit of blush on my face, add a little bit of warmth back to my skin, but I don't want it to look like I'm wearing blush. Like I will wear the bronzer, this, the Victoria Beckham concealer, and the Lisa Eldridge skin tint, and I've had people not think that I was wearing makeup because they just all melt in so naturally. It's probably my most used blush in my entire collection this year is the Victoria Beckham. A couple new ones that came out this year that I've been really loving are the KJH ones and the Haus Labs glossy blushes. So I have one of the Haus Labs ones. I really want more shades, like a brown would be great. This is Glassy Tangelo, really beautiful orange. I love an orange blush. This formula is really interesting because it's very high shine, very glassy and glowy on the skin, but it sets down and doesn't budge and lasts all day. So a lot of glossy, shiny products just don't last very long. You kind of have to trade off longevity versus shine. And this, the way they made this is kind of like a long-lasting lip gloss, but for your face, where it has some of those similar ingredients and it like clings to the skin, it dries down, it lasts. So it doesn't stay tacky like some cream products, but then it keeps the shine. Really, really innovative formula, really love that. And then the other ones that I've been wearing a lot are the KJH. So I bought Soft Raisin and Soft Tomato. Talked about these a bunch since I bought them. Really love them. Tomato is gonna be my go-to summer color, I think. I have worn it, obviously, but I don't wear it as much as Raisin right now. And then Raisin is this perfect raisiny brown color. I'm wearing a little bit of Raisin and a little bit of Victoria Beckham up here, mixed together, like Raisin here, Victoria Beckham here. Just really lovely. You can build it up. I wear it as a lipstick too. I do have a video trying these out, so 100% worth it if you're into that kind of a formula. It's matte, but like a soft blurry matte and not dry. It's just a really interesting, unique formulation. So I have a handful of other blushes. These are powder. I really grew to love blush this last year and a half. So I grabbed a couple that I just had to mention. I think most of these came out this year. So first is, this is the Florasis Peony Rosy Blush. This is not my perfect blush color, but it is really beautiful, and I just had to mention it because I think a lot of people really like this. This is from their collection that came out this summer, I think, or like late spring, early summer. They did send this to me in PR, and it is a really lovely formula. It's kind of a cream to powder formula. I wouldn't say it's a cream, and I wouldn't say it's fully a powder. It's kind of in the middle. Really lovely. This is like pink, but like neutral enough pink that I can still pull it off without it looking kind of off. And just a really interesting formula. I don't think there's other colors in this, but I hope they come out with more because I think this is a really beautiful formula. And if I want a slightly pinkier blush, this is the one that I grab. This is the Haus Labs blush in Fire Moon. This came out this year. I love this. This is my most used powder blush this year. It's a perfect warm brown. I think if you're lighter than me, this might be kind of a bronzery shade where it's kind of bronzer at the same time, but for me, it's just like a perfect natural brownie blush, which is what I go for most days. So this and Victoria Beckham, I used a lot. And then I finally tried Suku this year, and I haven't stopped talking about it since, but their blushes are so good. So Suku has a lot of blushes in their lineup, and they do limited edition blushes with every collection, it seems like, plus some permanent ones. I would love to try more of them. I just don't need that many. But this is one of their older blushes in the melting formula, so it's like a cream to powder. This they had to discontinue because of sourcing the ingredients, but there are still some out there. You can still buy them from Selfridges and Harrods and stuff like that. Really lovely formula. I think this is my favorite blush formula I've ever used, so I'm really sad that it's gone away, but I'm very happy that I was able to get the orange one, and then this is very similar to Raisin from KJH, but like slightly different, so I put this on top of them. It's a little more, it's got a little less purple to it than Raisin, so you can see there's a little bit more bricky tone to it, a little less purple in this. Really love these. Can't stop using them. And then this summer, fall, they launched their blurring blush formula, and I really loved it. It is a really beautiful, again, powder, but blurring and diffuses beautifully into the skin. I have two of them. I have, this is 05, which is one of the permanent ones, and 103, which is a limited edition shade. So this is 103, and this is 05. So you can see 05 is like a pinky brown, and this has like that little bit of mauve to it, and is a little bit darker. I really like these. These have been kind of go-to everyday blushes for me, all of these. I would say Victoria Beckham's the most used, and then House Labs and Suku are the second most. Okay, so before we get on to eyeshadow, I have one last complexion thing to mention, and that is the powder. So House Labs powder is my favorite loose powder. Still really love it on my third tub of it. It's great. It's blurring, it sets beautifully. No complaints. But I did buy the Hourglass Vanish Press Powder this year, and I have been loving this. So I did use it today. So it does set and take away some shine without taking away glow, kind of like the Kosas powder. I think this has a little bit more airbrush, like perfecting blurringness to it, which I really love. And then this is very travel friendly because it comes in a little compact like this with a little puff. And I have really loved this. You can see I already have pan. I use this pretty much every day. Even if I use the House Labs, I will often use this as well. And I take this with me to work. I love this, zero complaints, other than I wish it was magnetic so that you could just replace the powder and not the whole compact, or I could like put it in a magnetic palette, but that's it. Otherwise, really lovely powder. Okay, so when I was talking about complexion products, I forgot, so I'm inserting this at the end of those. This is the only face palette that I really tried this year, and this is the Auric Mirage Shift face palette. I got this after the fact. I bought it a few weeks after it came out, and I've been really enjoying it. I don't know if I can say wholeheartedly it's worth it for everyone. I don't think any product really is. But I have been really enjoying this for the month or so that I've had it so far. And I think it will go on to be a best of, which is why I wanted to throw it in here. Wow. So the packaging, beautiful. It is hefty. It is substantial without being too heavy. It's got this beautiful like brown bronze color to it with this really nice stone on the outside. I have the shade High Noon, which is the medium. And so far the formulas are really lovely. I bought this just for myself, not necessarily a video, and I got it well after the fact other people did. So I didn't do a dedicated video on it, but I still can if people want with like comparisons, but I have been really enjoying this. The bronzer is a really olive leaning bronzer, like warm with a touch of green, works perfect for me. The blush is like my favorite kind of blush color, that orangey tone, but not like orange. It's like a coral. Yeah, it's more coral, but it's like an orange coral versus a pink coral. This highlighter is really pretty. It's a nice sheer kind of peachy gold. And then the balm formula is really interesting. I'm still working out how much I like the balm, how much I like things mixed. But so far, I've really been enjoying it. Yeah, I don't have enough opinions to say a full review, but I do really like the formula so far. They are very long wear, skin-like. textures, except for the balm, which is a balm. Packaging is really nice. I like that I can use this as a magnetic palette if I want. So full verdict to be determined. That'll probably be coming sometime early next year, but I did have to mention it because I think it is really beautiful, and so far I'm really liking it. So we'll see long term what I think, but for now, I really like this. Okay, so now for eyeshadow and eye products. So I'm gonna mention non-eyeshadow first, and then we'll get into eyeshadow. So first, I wanna mention liquid eyeshadow. I have a bunch. I can also do, I've been thinking about doing like a liquid eyeshadow video, so let me know in the comments what your thoughts. But this year, Lisa Eldridge launched her second liquid eyeshadow formula. This is the Liquid Silk. And this is the best liquid eyeshadow I've ever used. So even matte liquid eyeshadows from other brands, I tend to need an eye primer underneath. Or if they're one that I don't, like the House Labs, I don't need one, and the Violette FR one, I don't need a primer down. But they dry really fast. I don't think they're too hard to work with. I still use them, but they're not as easy to work with as this. And I don't think they make as good of a base because they dry down and set kind of like a liquid lipstick does. I don't think powders and things cling to them as well as like a normal eye primer. So I like them, but these have kind of surpassed all of them because it dries down, it sets itself into a very silk-like texture, which is lovely. You don't feel it at all. Lasts all day, even on my oily eyelids with no primer underneath. And then I can use them as primer, either as the base of the look, like a warmer look like this, or as, you know, skin tone shade like this. This is Phoebe and this is Gaia. They work really well because of that silky texture. Powders just blend really beautifully on them and last all day still. So really love these. I would like to try the other shades and like to see more shades. So that was like a no-brainer for best of. So I tried a few eyeshadow sticks this year, but the ones that I've really fallen in love with are the Victoria Beckham. These are the eyewear. I have a few shades, but the ones that I pulled out are Pecan, which is a nice matte brown. And this is Cornflower, which is a really beautiful blue. These are really lovely because they blend easily, they look great, and then they last all day. So I've tried a lot of eyeshadow sticks that do not last on my eyes. I know some people like will use the Sigma ones as eye primer. I tried that, didn't work. It just melted off my eyes. I've tried some drugstore ones, didn't work. I've gotten samples. I think it's the Bobbi Brown one that lasts on me, but the Laura Mercier doesn't. I don't remember off the top of my head, but these are really great. They last all day, really beautiful. So you can use them as an eye base. You can use them as just a one and done. The blue one makes a really lovely eyeliner. I will do like a nice bold blue line across my lash line, maybe slightly wing it out. Lasts all day, it doesn't transfer up here, doesn't budge, doesn't smudge. Really beautiful formula. And then I have a couple eye pencils I want to mention. So I bought Lisa Eldridge Ground Coffee last year, and it is my go-to eyeliner now. It is creamy and blends really beautifully like the Victoria Beckham eyeliners that everyone loves. Those don't last on me. They just smudge and transfer, and they're just messy. They don't work for me. These are very similar formula, just as creamy, just as blendable, but these actually set down like on me. So everyone says the Victoria Beckham set and don't budge, but they do not on me. I've tried them with eye primer, I've tried powdering over them, nothing works. These, I don't have to do any of that with, they still work. They're really lovely. So I picked up two more this year. I picked up Cinder Smoke and Black Treacle. Cinder Smoke is a gray. It is what I have on in my waterline today, and then a little bit down here. Really lovely. Black Treacle, the black. I need more colors of these for myself and for the brand to launch. And then I got this one in PR. This is from Swede Beauty. They sent me a few things. This is definitely my favorite. The mascaras are nice. I don't think they're for me, and I will do a video on that soon. But this is a really lovely eyeliner. This is comparable to the House Labs eyeliners, the Urban Decay, like that, even Pat McGrath. So it's pretty creamy. It's a little creamier than some of those other ones. So you can smudge it a little bit. It's not as smudgeable. I wouldn't put it all over my eye and smudge it like the Lisa Eldridge, but you can smudge it and diffuse it, and it's just this really beautiful bronze color. And then once it sets and doesn't budge. It's got a little smudger like Victoria Beckham. Really lovely formula, definitely worth checking out. And then this is the Byredo pencil in Perplexed. So I was worried being a, pencil like this and a Kajal like Victoria Beckham, like some other ones I've tried, that this might not set, but this does. I can use this on the waterline. I can use this all over the lid. This spring and summer, a go-to look for me was just smudging this all over the lid, blending the edges, and going about my day. Lasts all day, looks beautiful. It's a really pretty like olive brown. I would like to try other colors from these because it's so nice. I even wore this out and about on a sunny day when it was hot and I sweated about it. Didn't budge. Okay, and then before I mention eyeshadow, I don't have my favorite mascara of the year. So I still really love the Ismea, and I'm currently using that one. Again, the Rubber Lash, one of the best mascaras out there. But this year, Lisa Eldridge launched hers, and it is amazing. I almost bought a backup already, but because I had the Ismea, and I had some ones in PR, like the Swede come in, I figured I'd wait. It's beautiful. The Lisa Eldridge mascara is, I think, the best mascara I've ever used. It is expensive, but it lasts, I think I wore it for 6 months, and then it started to dry up and get weird, and I was like, well, it's also old, so I should toss it. You can do one thin layer and have really like wispy, natural, like barely there, better than your lashes, like a kind of a tint. But you can also build it up and get more drama. Beautiful. The mascara I'm wearing today, I can't say is a favorite because I've only used it twice, but this is the new House Labs one. This launched yesterday, so I wore it yesterday and today, but I did want to wear it again today because it is new. Really liking it so far. Again, nice separation, lift, all of that, but I will have a video on this once I've used it more. Okay, so now it's time for eyeshadow. This is the biggest thing, but I think I can go through pretty quickly. So, starting with single shadows. I have some single shadows from like Shine by SD and stuff that I really love. Cleona I got this year, but I wanted to mention single shadows in like jars or pots or single pans. So I have a few here. So this is the first time trying this formula that's been around for a while. This is the Ash and Ember Eye Soot from Ritual de Fille. This was a collaboration. This is part of that collaboration with Andromeda. Really beautiful olive. And I just really like this. I want to try other colors. It does crease and look very lived in, but I like that look with certain colors, and this is one of them that just like looks effortless and lived in and really cool all day. And like once it gets to that kind of creased lived in look, it just stayed there. It didn't like melt off my eyes. That's my biggest thing, is I don't mind a little bit of creasing. It's just sometimes without a primer, like things like fully disappear and it looks like I never put it on in the first place, and that did not do that. The second one is this Smoky Quartz from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the first time I've ever bought something from Charlotte Tilbury. I bought 2 of these. This is by far my favorite. Perfect one and done, smoky, ashy brown, taupey brown. Love this. I wanted this when it originally launched like 2 years ago, and I never got it, and I'm very happy I finally got it. So I use it a lot. And then I did want to mention this Victoria Beckham shade. This is Tea Rose. So Mink and Velvet are my 2 go-to. Mink is probably my most worn, but I really love Velvet. But I finally bought Tea Rose, and I get why it's one of the best sellers. It is a really beautiful, they're described as a rose gold, but to me it's like, it looks pretty rose gold there, but on the eyes it looks more bronze. So it's kind of a rosy bronze is how I would describe it, and it's really beautiful. Love this formula. Really happy I finally grabbed that. Okay, so now it's time for eyeshadow palettes. 2 of these I think came out last year. The rest of them came out this year, and I've been really loving all of them, but I tried them all for the first time this year. So just in order of what I have in front of me. First, I have to mention the YSL quads. So I bought one of the original ones earlier this year, fell in love with it, and then they launched new ones this summer. Took me 6 months to buy them, but I finally bought Over Brune, and it is Just so pretty. I love this formula. I know Alicia Archer finally tried it recently and has been falling in love and bought a bunch of them. I get it. There's the perfect amount of pigment. They're really soft and just melt into the skin. You get a really beautiful sparkly shade in there, plus some satins and mattes, and it's one of the best formulas I've ever tried, indie or luxury. Like, it's just great. So I understand why they have as much hype as they do. This is one that was sent to me in PR. This is from Esam. So I have all of their eyeshadows. I bought the original 3, and this is their 4th palette that they sent me. This is number 3, Harmony. I think the Esam formula is really beautifully. It's up there with Viseart in that, like, pigmented but not too pigmented, but really buildable. You can blend them together and make new shades. It's just a lovely formula to work with. So they have like a fully neutral matte palette, and now this one is more colorful. I'd love to see like some greens and stuff from them. Really love this. It's still one of my favorite formulas, and I still use it pretty regularly when I'm not filming. So definitely had to mention that. This is my first and only, so far, Hermes quad. So this is Ombres Minerals. This came out in September 1st, so I bought this for myself as a birthday present, and I really love it. I have used it on camera a couple times, but it's one that I've used off camera a bunch because it's all of my favorite colors together in one little luxury quad. So you've got a perfect brown to use all over the eye. This blue is really beautiful. The other day I wore this. I put a little bit of the brown down in the crease to blend into, and then I packed the blue all over the lid, and it was a really beautiful blue smoky eye. Worked really well. It took a couple layers to build it up, but like, I'm fine with 2 layers on a dark shadow like that, and I had no fallout, so like, fine. The olive green is really beautiful. It's more of a satin with some gold sparkle. Again, takes maybe 2 layers to build it up into an opaque all over the lid shade, but just pretty. And then you've got a champagne. I've swatched the other ones, and they're a little bit more pigmented than this, and the formula is still really great. So the only thing holding me back from buying more of them is the fact that they're $100. So going into the indie palette stack, the first one I had to mention is the Nomad Cosmetics Burnt Forest palette. So they are a new indie brand that launched this year, I believe, and this came out at the start of the year. They've launched a few things since. I have not gotten those, but they are really pretty. They have like a more monochromatic blue and a more monochromatic purple color story. But this is like the perfect one for me. I'm very grateful that I got this in PR. It's neutrals and greens, and then these, you know, beautiful blue, red, green pops of color. It's one of the best matte formulas I've ever used. It's very pigmented, but like a lot of indie shadows, but still somehow blends easier than most. And the shimmers in here are on par with like Terra Moons and Clean. They're just really beautiful. So this was one of the first things I thought of when I thought of my favorite things this year. Next, I want to mention 3 things at once. So these are the Cliona palettes. So I have not used these that much on camera. I've used them off camera a bunch of times. I got them, they came while I was away out of the country, and so I never did a dedicated video with them. If you're interested in that, or like 1 per palette, let me know. But I really love these. If you watch my declutter, I talk about part of why, but formula in here, really beautiful, kind of powdery soft mattes, like a lot of indie shadows. I noticed luxury mattes tend to be a little creamier than indie shadows, but I don't mind. I like both for different reasons. Just really beautiful colors. The shimmers in here, some of them are a little more satin, some of them are a little more just standard metallic with some sparkle, some are very shifty multichromes that you know Cliona for. I just think these are really great quality and really beautiful colors, and I am excited to keep playing with them. I haven't played with them enough, but every time I've used them or swatched them, I've just like been over the moon, so had to mention all of these. Okay, so I've been filming for an hour, 58 minutes, and I'm losing my voice, so I need to finish up. Plus I need to make dinner. Next, back to the luxury category. I bought 2 product quads this year when I was in Europe, and I've really loved them, but I had to mention this one specifically. I don't remember the names of them, they don't say, but it is the quad with the orange. This is the one I've used the most of the two that I bought, because the other one's like black, gray, and silver. So like, I didn't own anything like that, and a couple times I've used it, I've really loved it, but I just don't grab black and silver very often. But this one is so pretty. So I did use this today with some other things here. So I used the Lisa Eldridge eyeliner. I used the satin shade in the middle, all over the lid. And then I did put a topper from another one that you'll see in a minute on top of that for a little bit more sparkle. And then I used the kind of dark plummy shade on the outer corner and over the eyeliner. And this formula is amazing. Maybe better than the Hermes and a little bit cheaper. But just really well done, but also very happy that I was able to get them customized in London. So back at Indie Palettes for a minute. This is something that came out last year and I bought around Halloween. And while I haven't had it the longest, it's already become one of my favorite things that I've used. So I had to bring it up, and that is Affilate Cosmetics Sorceress Smoke. So this is the first thing I've ever tried from the brand. I definitely want to try more. I'm very intrigued by the Gargoyle palette and then the new one they did for the Just a Taste they did for the holidays. I love this formula so far. I've used every shade in here at least once. I haven't had any issues. The shimmers are really beautiful. The mattes are really lovely. I like that you've got a peach shade and like a warm brown, and then you've got these shades. I can use this cool darker brown all by itself if I want. You've got a couple greens. So it's really earthy. If you know me, earthy color stories and earthy colors are my favorite, but then I like that you've got the pop of cool with this brown and this nightshade shade here. It's so pretty. I lusted after this for a full year. I think it came out at like around Halloween last year, and I'm so happy I finally got it. Vervain is just such an interesting like green, peach, neutral, taupe, shimmer, multi-chrome. So pretty. You've got a satin brown, which I always love. So I had to mention this, even though I've only had it a little while. I've fallen in love with it and want to try more from the brand. I have two here that I want to mention from Fantasy Cosmetica. They had a few launches this year, but I think these are my favorites. First is, these also were sent to me in PR, by the way, the Fantasy Cosmetica ones, and I do have an affiliate code with them. This is the Enchanted Autumn palette. This is currently on sale as I'm filming it, but I don't think it'll be once the video is up. Who knows? They're doing an end of year sale, so it might still be on sale. And that's the first time this has been included in one. This was a collaboration with my friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun. She's a sweetheart. These are her colors. These are also colors I really like. These like desaturated, they're kind of jewel tones, but desaturated and enough that they don't feel necessarily like jewel tones. I think they really did a great job, and this is their first collaboration. The other one that I want to mention is their Harvest of Souls palette. So this was their Halloween palette, and this isn't colors that I want to wear every day. So it's not my most used fantasy palette or palette in this stack, but when I do want to use it, the formulas in here are so good and the color story is so well done. So you have 3 monochromatic quads. So you've got a purple, a green, a blue, and then you've got these 3 olives and then this wine shade. So the wine shade can go with the blues, it can go with the purples, these greens can go with whatever. If you want it to be a little more olive green or like true green, you can mix and match the blues and the purples, the greens and the blues. Like you can mix around, but you also have these nice monochromatic looks set aside in here if you want. This goes really well with these tones. It's just so well done. You've got a nice mixture of shimmer formulas. So you've got some really sparkly, like thicker shades, some like more iridescent shades. This one's a little bit more shifty and smooth. I think they just knocked it out of the park. I think this is, a lot of people's new favorite from them. And like I said, it's not colors I want to wear every day anymore. I used to wear this every day. Like 2 years ago, this would have been my everyday. But I just had to mention it because it's so well done. And when I do want those colors, this is one of the things that I've been grabbing for. So like I said earlier, I did finally try Suku this year. Mentioned those blushes. And I also tried their eyeshadows. So I have 5 of their quads now, and there's so many more I want. But These are the two that I keep grabbing over and over again and have used the most out of all 5, so I had to mention these ones. So this is 139 and 142. So 139 came out like this spring, and 142 is one of their fall palettes, or it's one of their winter palettes, and then they had the holiday palettes. So this is from the winter, and this is from the spring. Really beautiful. I love the textures. I love the colors. This has that nice cool tone matte brown, and then I can go either more purple or more charcoal with the shimmer if I want, and then that sparkly white. This has been my most used lately. And then all summer since I got it in like July, and then throughout August and September and November, this was one of my most used palettes. I've got kind of a yellowy, almost skin tone shade, a really beautiful orange. This like sheer toppery green gold shade is really lovely, especially over the orange. And then this shade is like a cooler toned purpley brown, purpley charcoal with like green, gold, pink sparkle. It's just so pretty, so unique. Love these formulas. They're very silky, soft. They are a slurry formula, so if you've tried Surratt, it's a similar Japanese slurry. Cannot speak highly enough of them. And like, yes, they're expensive, especially because you have to buy them from the UK if you live in the United States. You have to pay shipping or something. But these are like $50 a quad versus $80 versus $100. Like, they're luxury, but they're more affordable than a lot of other luxury brands. Okay, so back to indie palettes for a minute. I had to mention 2 from Nomad. So I love Nomad Cosmetics. I got these in PR, and I do have a code with Nomad. But I liked all of the palettes they did this year pretty much. I think they were all well done and unique. The summer one is too bright and colorful for me to wear very often, but it's still like, the formula is good. But the 2 that I've loved the most are 2 of the most recent ones. But that doesn't surprise me because every year their fall winter palettes are my favorite. Really liked their early fall, late summer one, which was the Mount Fuji one. But the 2 that I've been using the most, and I think speak to me the most of everything this year, are the Polar Express and the Chicago Speakeasy. So Chicago Speakeasy has some beautiful neutrals and then some purple mauve tones. So you've got like desaturated purples, warm browns, a charcoal, a really fun green, and then really beautiful shimmers. They're all sparkly and shifty, but in different ways, like more iridescent, more black base, more gray base. Love it. Perfect mix of color and neutral and different shimmer textures. I just think this was an outstanding release from them. And then the Polar Express is again a mix of warm and cool, but it's more warmer, I would say neutral browns. I mean, you've got the red, so you've got a little bit of warmth here, and then you've got blue. You've got a really beautiful antique gold up here, a really beautiful taupey brown, if you want to stick more neutral. I just think, again, outstanding, beautifully done. Perfect holiday palette. I don't really care about the Polar Express book or movie. I never really cared, but colors and formula, great. Nomad has already sneak peeking their first palette for 2025, probably coming, I think, January. And it looks like it's another ski themed one, and I'm so excited to see what it is. So can't wait to see what they do next year. They're a brand that constantly excites me, even if it's not like my perfect color story. I know the quality is going to be good, and I just think they always do such an interesting job with like the themes, and I love a good theme. Okay, so I've got a handful of luxury, higher end of luxury formulas next, and then I have a couple lip things I want to mention. Lips are always the last thing. Almost always the last thing I do, so I will put them at the end. So I have most of the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palettes, and I really love them all, but I've been very happy with Fawn that came out this year. The rest came out like 2 years ago, and I bought some of them then, some of them last year, some this year. Like, I've been kind of steadily collecting them. Love them all. I have really no complaints. Love her formulas. But Fawn came out and it is her first like true neutral. So she had like cool neutrals, warm neutrals. This is like true neutral and it is really lovely to work with. I can see this being a good bridal palette if you're into that kind of makeup. You've got a more taupey cream to powder shadow down here so that like this barely shows up on me on my like medium skin tone, but it shows up just enough that it gives a very natural kind of contoured sculpt look to the eye. I've used this on my nose and stuff too. Like it is a very nice natural contour. I think you're lighter than me. You could probably do a little bit more with it, but even on me, for like an effortless look, it works perfectly. And then this shade is a neutral brown that is more of her creamy powder formula, and this is like the perfect neutral brown. Love the charcoal shade. The white sparkly shade's beautiful. This duochrome is very sheer, and I have others that are like, I would say, shinier, more shifty, all of that. But this, if you want a really subtle version or just like a hint of it, it is nice. I do wish it did a little bit more, but it is described as a satin duochrome. So like I expected it to be a satin duochrome. And then this shade here, this is Dorian. This is her Luster, which is more of a satin shade, is so good. And I've used probably my most used eyeshadow since this came out. I will put this all over the lid, blend the edges, maybe use one of these two to buff the edges a little bit more. But that's it. It's like my perfect everyday 90s brown smoky eye. I love it. Yeah, I used a combination of those two mattes in this all the time, depending on how much depth, like what I want to do with the look. But love this. It's one of my most used palettes. Sticking with boring, but I really love it, I have two Natasha Denona palettes. So I really like Natasha Denona's formulas. I have most of her mini palettes. I have some of her small ones. I have some of her big ones. I think some formulas and some shades I don't always love, but in general, one of my favorite formulas. And I had to mention I Need a Warm and Golden. So I didn't try all of her palettes this year. Golden, I think, is a really good launch, and I have used it a lot. It's a good work palette for me. I mean, I could wear whatever I want to work. And I sometimes do wear colorful, sparkly things, but like most days I'm doing something quick and fast. It is her revamped version of the gold palette. I do like the gold palette color story more. But I don't regret buying this because she did add a couple pale shades so you can do a nice matte inner corner, which I prefer a matte brightening inner corner to a shiny, sparkly one. And then the formulas were all updated. So like Kava is one of people's favorites from Gold. And I like the color, but I didn't find that the shadow worked the best for me. This new version of Kava works better on me. It lasts longer. It doesn't hard pan like the other one did. I get a little bit more pigment from it. The other one always was a little bit more of a wash. This is still a wet effect sparkle, but like I don't have to build it up as much. And then some of the other newer additions in here, plus just the formula update. I had to mention it because if you have a golden or an olive undertone, this is a really good neutral everyday palette. Yes, she took out the fun teal shades and I do miss them, but I have them in the other one and those formulas still work well. So I think for people who missed the original, I wish she would have just modified it a little bit, like updated the formula, maybe taken out, I don't think we needed Panna and Flesh, you know, like we could have added this shade as a brightening shade, kept Dijon, and then kept a couple of the green shades and like made it more of a true new version. But I still really like it, even though it's more boring than the original, because it works so well and I'm happy I have both. So, plus these are magnetic with all the others, so I can make MIDI customs with this that I couldn't with Gold. And then the other one that I have here is I Need a Warm. Hate the name, and I didn't think I would love it, so I didn't buy it immediately. I waited till people got it and I saw it on similar skin tones. But once I got it, I really, really fell in love. I bought it and I was like, I think I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna buy it. I think I had a gift card, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just buying it. And it's been up there with the Suku palettes and one of the other ones you're gonna see here. This has been one of my most used, and it's just so well done. It's warm without being like orange red warm, or like really golden yellow, like a lot of the golds you'll see in like Pat McGrath palettes. It's kind of neutral leaning browns, not warm, not cool, just like neutral, true neutral browns with these peach tones. So I don't have a lot of peach in my collection in general, and sometimes they tend to be a little too much pinky peach, and these are a nice warm peach, not a cool peach, and that just makes it work so well. And then this bottom row, there's like a little bit of green to hanker and dynamism that works so well on my olive undertone, and I just cannot get enough of this bottom row, especially the new cream to powder formula she tried here. It is easier to work with than her older one. I like the old one, but this one is easier to work with and just so silky and beautiful. I want like a whole palette of just these. I would do like a whole matte palette with just these. I would happily buy that. Okay, so I have 2 palettes left, and I'm leaving, I think, what my favorite of 2024 is to the end. So next, I'm gonna mention the Mario Moonlight palette. So didn't buy the original Ethereal Eyes, wish I had it, but really happy I got this. I think it's just a perfect cool tone palette, and I love the shimmers in here. They're that sparkling, wet effect, Urban Decay kind of style shimmer, and then you've got a satin charcoal. Love a satin, love a charcoal. Like this is, I deserved all the hype that I got. And then the last, and I think my favorite palette of 2024 is gonna be Byredo's. I think this is gonna be a lot of people's favorites. I think it's the best thing Byredo's ever done. It's lovely formula, some sparkly, some satin, some mattes. This shade up here is what I have on my lid. It's earthy, but cool earthy. It's forest river earthy versus like desert earthy, which is what you tend to get in earthy things. It's just so well done. I can't believe this was so hard to get. I'm so mad about that for everyone who couldn't get it, but it's so beautiful and it makes me so excited to see what they do next year. I can't wait. This is definitely my top palette of 2024, and really happy the weather's kind of cool and murky again. I feel like wearing more makeup because I have already pulled this out a couple times lately and can't wait to keep playing with it. Okay, so all that is left is lip products, and this is actually probably going to be the smallest section. I have a lot of lip things that I really love. I constantly reach for my Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. I have a bunch of the Pat McGrath, and those are really lovely as well. The Haus Labs lip oils, I use those constantly. Actually, I think they came out this year. I don't want to get up and get another one, but the Haus Labs lip glosses, so they have the lip oils, which are like a clear orange, a clear pink, a clear. Then they have the lip oil lip gloss hybrid that are supposed to like plump your lips over time, and those I have persimmon, I have cocoa, I have a couple of those. Those, I've already gone through a whole one of them, and I have 2 open ones right now in different colors. So those, love those. Forgot to mention those, or grab those. I also, in the lip oil lip balm sense, want to mention the Lisa Eldridge lip balms. These came out this year. These came out this spring, I think, and I have 2 or 3 of them, and I want more of them. This is the one I grabbed here. This is Red Curve. It is a really beautiful red. It just goes on, it adds a nice red tint to the lip without looking like you're wearing a red lipstick, but it's still a red. It's a really cushiony, beautiful long wear formula. Really like this lip balm. I also really love the Isabelle lip balm. So these came out, I think, last year. Yeah, I think these came out at the end of last year, but I did want to say that the one shade Follower, I have 2 of these, and the shade Follower I have been using constantly all year and have fully used it up. Like, it will not go up anymore. There's that little nub there. That's it. I love this and really love this formula. I've had for a while at the start of like the weather changing and it getting really cold and gross out, my lips were really chapped suddenly, horribly, and it was like just like part of here and part here, would not go away. This, I think, was one of the things that helped the most. I have lots of lip balms, some of them more medicinal, but somehow this one, with all its vitamin E and everything, I think helped the most. So I think severely underrated lip product. And then I think these might have come out last year, but I did want to mention the YSL lips that I have. I have 2 of the Candy Glaze and 2 of the Love Shines. I have kind of a more reddy neutral, and then the brown, scenic brown in both of these. I use these constantly. I think one of them is almost gone, and I will be buying backups. Especially the Love Shine in scenic brown is like the perfect everyday there but not there brown lip balm, lip oil hybrid. It's so good. Not new, but still really, really loving. And then I have 2 things that are both not new this year but new to me, and then one thing that is new. So not new but new to me are the Suku lip formulas, specifically the Fluid Fog and the Moisture Glaze. So this is the Moisture Glaze. I only have one of these. This is such a good lipstick formula. So this is a really hydrating satin lipstick. I have shade 12, and it is kind of similar to what I have on, but a little bit more brown. Perfect your lips, but better for me. Hydrating, really lovely formula. It is the perfect mix of like pigment and lipstick with also like hydration of a lip balm. I really want more colors of this. They had some new ones, like limited edition shades, come out with their holiday collection that I did not buy because I'd already spent my budget, but I really want them. And I think there's like 5 of the permanent shades that I want. Really lovely formula. I would say on par with the Lucent formula from Lisa Eldridge, like Meet Me in Berlin is my other favorite, but this is a little bit more lip balmy than that. So it is distinct, but just an excellent formula. And then this is the Fluid Fog. I also bought the Fluid Glow, which is nice, but the Fluid Fog is really beautiful. It is one of those more moussey whipped textures, if you see, and this is again in a chocolate brown, my favorites. It's just a really beautiful color, really beautiful formula. It's not matte, but it's not shiny. It's just like a perfect satin kind of velvet texture. Pretty long lasting, not as much as like a true matte would be, but just really lovely. And I would definitely get some more of these colors. I just haven't. Highly recommend checking this out. It's just a really lovely formula. And if you want to see this applied, I did do a fall lipstick video, and I did lip swatches with all like 12 things I used in that, and this is one of them. So if you want to see that, check out that video. I'll have it linked. The product I have is separate. It's not like a lip balm lipstick, and it's a lip stain. So this is the Kulfi lip stain. I have the shade Tamarind. This was sent to me in PR. This is a Lussie lip staining lip oil. So I think my initial thought with this was that it was going to be similar to the Rare Beauty, which wasn't very lip oil-like. It was just a stain that they called a lip oil. This is more hydrating than that. So if you wanted, if you thought the lip tint from Rare Beauty was too drying, this is definitely better. Really beautiful formula. I love this color. I did wear this in that video as well. Very thankful that Kulfi sent this to me in PR. It's just a really nice formula. I will often wear this, let this stain, let it fully dry, and then I will put red curve over it. So I have that like brown base and then like a little bit of red to it. I also really like the look of like a red tint with a brown lip over. It just makes it a little bit earthy, a little different, just so nice. And then the last product that I want to mention is a new product for this year, and it is the Lisa Eldridge Rouge Experience lipstick. This is an amazing lipstick formula, and the packaging, everything about this just makes me really happy. So it's very expensive. This is like $70, 60 something dollars, I think. I think it's fully worth it for me. Yeah, I think it's like 60 something. It's a very beautiful weighted, hefty, like forever piece, kind of like jewelry, where you can use this forever. It is a refillable lipstick, so you can change that, and this component will last the rest of my life and beyond. It's really nice aluminum, beautiful package, like the Lisa Eldridge gold that's on everything. I did say in my review that this does kind of remind me of Cell Division, like chromosomes and cell division. But that also could be the fact that I am an evolutionary biologist and anthropologist. But that's what it makes me think of. This is what I've been wearing in the whole video. This is the shade Ashes of Roses, and it's like my perfect everyday lip. It's rosy, but still really brown, but not like a brown lip. It's just really beautiful. I also have the shade Simone, which is more of a chocolatey, like a tawny yellow brown, really beautiful. Bean is being very noisy, eating her dinner next to me. Just really like these. I would like to get some more shades, and she already said she has other shades in the works that are coming and other formulas. So I'm excited. I think I can imagine her replacing all of her lipsticks with this. So like as she sells out of Meet Me in Berlin in the Lucent formula and Velvet Ribbon in the Velvet formula, like so on. As those sell out, replacing them with this component I think would be really smart, and I hope she does that. Because then you just need the one Lisa Aldridge case or however many you want to buy. I have my customine too. And then they just refill really easily. And then you can also just use this without the refill. It's just a really beautiful piece, really lovely formula. It's a satin, but it lasts really well, and it's kind of a gel-based satin. It's a really interesting formula, very comfortable, meant to be something you would wear every day, which this definitely is. So is Simone. So I really love these. I took a break to eat dinner and had pizza, and it survived most of that. When I wiped my mouth to get the pizza grease off, there was still like lipstick coming off with it, so, and a little tint left. So just a really lovely formula. I think expensive and not for everyone, but I think if the idea of a luxury refillable component that you'll keep forever, that like heirloom piece, if that is something that appeals to you, I think it's definitely worth the investment for me, if that's something that appeals to you and you can afford. Obviously, if it's out of your budget, don't go into debt for makeup forever. But, you know, if it's something that like appeals to you, I think it's worth it for me, and for some people, I can see it wholly being worth it. Okay, so those are all of my favorites for the year. Let me know what you think of my picks, what you think of what I brought out today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what your favorites were, especially if you don't have a channel and you're not gonna be making a video like this or haven't already. I love to talk to y'all because there's so many different makeup opinions and preferences in the comments. It's always interesting to see what other people like, and sometimes I find things that I end up loving. So I'd love to talk to y'all in the comments. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps the channel so much, and I will see you all in my next video.